Okay, well, welcome everybody that is deciding to watch. This is just a bunch of us having fun playing Dungeons and Dragons. As always, this is our Dark Tower game. I do not have any rights or anything for Stephen King's material. I'm just using it as a reference for something that I have created. We are playing by my homebrew rules. If you don't like it, well, tough for you. Um, so last time we played was an interesting game. You guys decided to leave Tull after digging a mass grave for all of the townsfolk except for three that were killed, two kids and a man that Faustus did not feel okay with killing for whatever reason. Um, Zoros went through Roland's belongings and found a weathered journal along with some bullets. And you also took his two guns, the guns of my father, and split that up between Zoros and Hamilton. Um, and then setting out across the desert, the first night you camped, you got ambushed by a group of dust mephits, um, which just, you know, apparently Luna and Eth did not see coming in the middle of the dark after a long conversation of whether to light a fire or not. Um, and then a couple days later, you came across a farm where you met the farmer Brown and his pet mimic in the shape of a crow named Zoltan. Um, Rancid had a nice dinner of beans because that is all that Brown had.
They
Um,
were good beans.
they were good beans. And then the following day, you set out towards the west again, where you heard that the man in black had walked to, and you guys came across a very rundown house and a barn. And upon investigating the barn, you found a water pump that pumped out crystal clear and uh, very cold, refreshing water. And you also found a pale little boy who introduced himself as Jake. Um, and upon helping Jake try and gather some things from the basement, he pushed uh, Azair down the stairs, and his true form, that of a white, uh, came to be, and you guys fought him on the stairs and slayed him, and that is pretty much where we ended up. Um, S is still up top of pretty much outside the basement, while everybody was down in the basement. Um,
I
so
think the
at
only
this,
reason that was is because there was some technical issues last week
there were
or
some
2 weeks
technical
ago. So
issues. So at this point, what would y'all like to do?
I think we should check out search the white, search the basement, look around.
I mean, I'm gonna go down and join everybody just to see what's going on.
Eth, as you walk down the stairs, you heard the shouting and the sound of combat. And as you get down, you don't see Jake anymore, but you see a white laying on the floor of the basement dead. Zorro searching the white. All he had on was some studded leather, and he had a long sword.
Is any is any of that an upgrade to what any of our party members have?
Um,
I seem to already have studded leather.
Who can do the check for enchantments to see if it's magical armor?
F, give me an Arcana check.
I do have identify as a ritual as well, but Arcana first. 24.
Okay. You don't get any sense of magic from the armor, but strangely, when you're looking at the corpse of Jake, you get a magical sense from his jaw.
Uh-huh.
As in like the lower half of his skull.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be a jaw.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm not going to touch it, but I'm getting a magical feeling from this thing's jaw.
I will immediately touch the jaw.
I was just gonna say, Rancid cuts a jaw from the body.
So as you touch the jaw, I mean, nothing happens all that much. You do see that as light from the top of the stairs is shining onto the corpse, the skin starts to kind of crinkle and become very much more paler than it is. And as soon as you touch the jaw, all of the skin just kind of flecks off as ash just kind of falling to the ground. The jawbone still remains, pretty much the whole skeleton still remains. And F, you realize it is the jawbone itself that you were getting that magical feeling from.
Sure.
I immediately begin desecrating the body.
I mean, okay, you go and start desecrating the body. And,
Yoinking that jaw right off there.
okay, I mean, it's not hard to yank the jawbone off of the skeleton. You now hold the jawbone.
Why is it magic?
I don't know, but I do know that the look on the cleric's face right now is absolutely just 100% loving it.
Don't worry about this. It's a magic jawbone. He said so.
Yeah, I did.
I'll just look nauseated.
Why?
I
There's
think
no
we're all
skin on it.
looking
It's just a
like that.
bone. You can have the rest of the corpse.
Not even that, just a skeleton now.
You can have the rest of the skeleton now.
Question for the DM.
Yes.
How the heck do we identify? Is this something that we have to cast a spell, or I mean, we
So
obviously know it's magical.
There's a couple different ways that it can be done. If it's something that requires attunement to it, if you spend kind of like a long rest with it, you'll usually get more or less a sense of what it is and what it does. Or there is a spell that is called Identify that can be cast to pretty much instantly tell you what it is.
Okay.
I mean,
I
was going to spoon the jawbone.
I mean, that's fine. I have identify, so if we just like wait around for 10 minutes, I can tell everybody what the jawbone does.
That's cool.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's see what else we find in the thing, and let's kind of do all of it at once. If there's more than
Can we see the map of the basement again?
So I'm just going to sit down and start for the next 10 minutes doing my ritual.
So this is the map of the basement. Eth would have come down here as well, but I don't seem to have his token on here anymore. Seth is sitting down and, basically casting the spell while holding the jawbone and looking at it. Zoros, you said you were kind of searching around throughout the basement. Give me an investigation check.
14.
14, okay. So looking around the basement, you don't find a whole lot, just a lot of paper that is collected on the ground. You see some empty cans that look like they might have had food in it at one point in time. And you do find a couple sealed cans of beans. But that's about all that you would find.
Okay. I
Does
grab
he
the beans.
investigate
I
around the wall?
grab the beans and hand them to Rancid and say, dude, we got some more beans for you.
You laugh, but when I'm the only one with food.
No, this is a peace offering for you, man. I got your back. I know you like beans. Here's some beans. I found them in the back.
I'll accept this offering of beans.
So did we go around the wall thing?
Yeah,
already?
Zoros was pretty much walking around just looking at everything. And that's about all he found. I just didn't move his token around.
Question for the DM:
Yes.
Is there any way up to the house proper?
Not from the basement. This basement is only accessible from the outside entrance that you came down in.
Good question. That's probably something we should start investigating. Go up and check out the house.
So after the 10 minutes, we'll say that's the time that it took Zoros to find
2 cans of beans.
a couple cans of beans. You do manage to figure out what it is. Hold on. Check your equipment and let me know if you have a new item in your equipment.
I don't see anything yet.
Okay.
Do I have to reload? Maybe.
You could try. If not, then I'll text it to you.
Yes, I do have it now.
Okay.
So it looks like this is called the Jawbone of Knowing. It basically gives, once attuned, gives advantage on wisdom checks and saving throws. And then once per long rest, whoever has attuned it can raise the jawbone in the air and cast Turn Undead based upon their own character level.
Cool. Now, is that something that's a religious artifact, or is that a sorcerer artifact?
That's a really good question.
When you did the Arcana check, you got a sense of divine magic from it.
So that should probably be something that our paladin or our who does anybody have turn undead?
I believe
I
I
have
know I don't.
access to it. I just got to double check if I have it. It's one of the things that I would have to prepare, I think.
Yeah, if anything, I know Faustus would be the one. No, I think Turn Undead is just one of the cleric abilities. I don't think it's a spell or anything you have to prepare.
Right, but he's gonna turn undead at a lot higher rate than I would, or, right?
So
Because you said based on their character ability and their roles.
it's based on the character level. So with clerics, as they get higher in level, they can turn more difficult undead creatures and use that ability on them. So whoever is using the jawbone in that, it would basically match what their character level is to the ability.
I definitely think Faustus should have it then. And Faustus, if we're getting turn undead type items, I think probably turn undead might be a worthwhile skill on our next rest to channel.
Well, Faustus can use turn undead no matter what.
Yeah.
Like he can
Oh,
use
He
it
doesn't
on.
need the
No,
jawbone, it should go to somebody
Yeah.
else.
he has the ability to do turn undead because he is a cleric.
Okay, so then we should maybe give it to somebody else then who doesn't have that ability that would now have that ability, so we have the ability twice.
Well,
I mean, does that make
Ranchard
sense?
has it, he's not letting go.
Technically,
It's
Eth
that
has it.
prized bone he's got there.
Eth was the one that had identified it, so he's the one holding it currently.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't.
why don't you keep it then, so you can turn undead if we need it?
Okay. I feel comfortable totally and completely wandering around with the jawbone of this creature. Sure.
Don't be a wuss, Seth.
You don't know me.
I've seen you wait upstairs while we all go into a dark basement.
Somebody has to be the lookout.
Okay.
You know, one of my traits is I have no respect for anybody that doesn't have any military service. So, F.
So
I'm
pretty
okay with
much
that.
anyone but himself.
Yeah.
Maybe Faustus. Maybe. Okay, so what are you guys doing?
We need to go out.
Let's go up and check out the house.
Okay, as you exit the basement, the light difference is blinding, so it takes a couple minutes to get your eyes readjusted to the bright desert. Someone give me a perception check for trying to find an entrance into the house.
I rolled an 18.
Okay. So as you are looking around the house trying to see if there is a way in, you notice all the doors have been blocked by either ramshackle, just like parts of the top floor falling down and blocking it. The windows have been boarded up. Looking at the structure of the house, you are a bit surprised that it has not collapsed into the basement at this point. But you do not find a way into the house.
I will relay all of that as I'm looking around.
Good job.
Thank you.
From the house, as you guys noticed last session as well, you can see the mountain range in the distance. Someone give me another perception check, except for F, because he's busy looking around the house.
I thought I was done looking around the house.
Well, you're not.
I'm not trained in seeing.
I got a 19.
Okay. Yeah, you just notice the mountain range and surmise that is the direction that the man in black had headed.
Time is it?
What time
time
of
is
day?
it?
You would have gotten to the way station probably mid-afternoon. So at this point, it would probably be creeping into dusk. Still bright out, but it's starting to get darker.
I think that we should stay in the barn for the night.
Yeah, we
Got
might be
clean
able
water?
to secure the barn.
Open some
I think
cans
that'd
of
be-
beans.
Yeah,
Have
that's
some fresh
smart.
water.
Okay, you guys are able to close the door on the barn well enough that you feel secure. Are you posting watches for the night?
Yep. We gotta have somebody that can see in the dark with every watch, so. I'll take the latest, I'll take the midnight shift again.
I
At
can
the
take
Luna,
those
moment-
much.
At the moment, I think only Zoros and Luna can see in the dark.
I can create light myself and like move it around. So I
That
figure
might
I can
draw
take the
attention.
first.
Flashlight
it-
maze.
It might, but we're going to be inside the barn, and I'm just going to keep the light in the barn. That way I can make sure that if anything is trying to get in, I'll know where it is.
There you go.
But if it's early enough, maybe the setting sun won't draw as much attention with light coming from outside of the barn.
And Azair and Hamilton can also see in the dark, so they'll help out with the watches and make sure nothing happens. But as you bed down for the night passes without incident, so everyone can give themselves a long rest if they have not already.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I suggest we head out towards fill up our water and head out towards the mountain.
Okay.
Works
Yeah,
for
you
me.
can easily fill up your water skins. The water that comes from the pump is clear and cold, and some of the best water you've probably ever had.
We totally hydrate too.
Exactly. The day trekking through the desert is hot. It is slow going just because of how hot it is. Someone give me a survival check.
Keep checking to see what skills I have.
I got 18 plus 5, so 23.
Okay, so Luna is easily able to spot the fading footprints in the sand, campfires that you surmise was the path that the man in black took. And as the day progresses, you notice that the campfires start looking more fresh, as if it wasn't that long ago that he had passed by here. So you get the feeling that you are starting to gain on him. But at this point, you have not caught up. It pretty much gets into the evening.
As it starts getting darker, we should probably find some kind of. Are we close enough to the mountains that we're starting to see some terrain, or is it still flat desert?
It's still flat desert. You still probably got about another day before it gets to where you would think terrain from the mountains would start to appear.
Oh, looks like we're camping out in the desert again tonight.
I mean, not that we have the same abilities as this person we're chasing, but it seems like he doesn't have any issues setting fires and keeping that up. So I don't think we'll have an issue.
Having a fire tonight.
I mean, we can if again, I know we're not like him. So I don't know if he scares whatever wild animals might be out here away without them even needing to come close. But clearly, he doesn't have any issues lighting fires and continuing on. So I don't see why we would have a problem doing the same thing.
Okay,
So as you set up camp for the night, setting a fire, someone give me a perception check.
Perception, okay, plus.
I got a nat 20 for a 23.
So F, your mind has been focused on finding the man in black, and you were just talking about how he hasn't seemed to have any issues lighting fire. And as you actually look up towards the mountain range, you can actually make out a very faint flicker that you would believe would be a campfire up on the mountain.
I would point it out to everybody.
Okay, and everybody is, after maybe taking a minute to try and find it, you guys all see a very faint flicker of firelight on the mountain as well.
I think the downside to us lighting a fire would be that gives us away too.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
Do you not think he already knows that we're on his tail?
I don't know what he knows he knows.
I have to go forward
maybe
thinking
we're
that he
just
knows
travelers
everything,
traveling through the desert.
or that too.
on a horse with no name.
I mean, I know the horse's name back in the Tull. Its name was Delicious. None of you believe me, but
So as you bed down for the night, setting up watches as you have, the night passes without incident. The sun comes up hot and bright, setting you guys up for your second day of travel. Again, pretty much the desert is still slow going. Looking at something real quick.
Somebody's got a tube set up and throwing candy down the tube for the kids.
If they touch the candy, it defeats the
I know.
purpose.
As you are walking through the desert, someone that is trained in nature, give me a nature check.
Not me, I think you are.
I think we have two people that are trained in nature.
Luna?
Luna
Okay.
and Azair.
It's not me.
Nope,
Oh,
not Luna.
huh, and Azair is not either. That's kind of odd. Okay. Okay then. Someone that is trained in perception, then give me a perception check.
7, 10.
10. Okay. Anybody else want to roll on that as well?
I did not do as well as Oros.
Okay then. As you guys are walking, probably about midday, you unfortunately don't notice the slight vibration in the ground, or the shifting of the sands, because it has been blowing until it is a little too late, and pretty much right from the middle of your walking party, this large worm-like creature just bursts forth through the sand and makes an attack on Zoros. Does a 16 hit you, Zoros?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to find
worries.
what am I looking at?
Your
Armor class?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So it does hit you with its tentacle, doing 4 poison damage. And give me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. It said +6. So 26.
Okay, you are easily able to shrug off that poison.
Okay.
So let me give you guys a view of what it is that you are seeing. So this is what has burst out from the desert sands and just attacked Zoros with its tentacles. And with
Gross.
that, we can go ahead and roll initiative.
That's a D20.
D20 and add your initiative bonus.
Whoops.
I will be going dead last. 15.
20 or 19.
Hold on. Trying to do something a little different than normal. Okay. I need to find out. Okay. 25 to 20.
21.
21. 20 to 15.
19.
19. 15 to 10.
13.
I guess I probably should roll for Hamilton and Azair. Okay, Hamilton got a 16. And Azair got a 15. 10 to 5. 5
I
to
got
1.
a 7.
Wow.
I had a natural 1, so I have a 2.
Okay. F, you are up first.
So this thing burst out of the ground. What distance is it from me?
Where would you have been in the marching order? Do you think you'd be in the front, middle, or back?
I probably would have been in the middle.
So it's probably about maybe 10 feet from you.
Okay. I'm going to put my thumbs together and spread my fingers out and shoot burning hands out. Can I get a dexterity saving throw?
That is a fail.
I mean, the
Thanks.
monster failed or
The
F failed?
monster failed. There's a natural 3 on the dice.
It was only 6 damage.
Oh, okay. 6 damage is still better than nothing.
No, true, but not when you're doing 3d6 damage.
Roll my 20 to figure out here.
Okay, so Eth, are you doing anything else?
No, I'm just going to stay put.
Okay, Luna.
Okay, I'm gonna hit it with my longbow. I'll shoot at it. Damage is 12, or hit is 12.
12 does not hit, unfortunately. You try and aim with your longbow, you pull out, but the arrow just kind of glances off of the side of its body, seemingly unharmed. It is now the carrion crawler's turn. So it is going to bite Zoros and then make a tentacle attack at Eth. So Zoros, it misses you. And Eth, I'm assuming, yeah, that'll definitely hit. Eth, you take 5 points of poison damage.
What was the...
It was a 13 on the dice plus 8, so a 21.
Barely. You said
So
I
you
take
take
how much damage?
5 points of poison damage and give me a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution. $21.
Okay, you managed to just kind of shrug off the poison from the tentacle. And that is its turn. So now it moves on to Hamilton. Hamilton is going to unsheath his long sword and go ahead and make an attack. That would be 14, so that does hit. And Hamilton does 9 points of damage with his long sword.
Well done, Hamilton.
Yay!
He says thank you. And then as Zare's turn, hold on. Okay. You see Azare try and kind of, rub her fingers together like she saw Eth doing.
Oh
and
no, don't
a
do that
little-
anymore.
a little tiny flame kind of appears in her hand, and she tries to throw it at the carrion crawler. And she does hit.
Yes.
And she deals 2 points of fire damage to it. And she looks at Eth and just says, "See, I'm getting better." And that is
Yep.
her turn. So it is now Ranson's turn.
Go and try to stab it with
Okay.
rogue stuff.
Okay. And you currently do have 2 people up in melee range with it at the moment.
I'm guessing 11 does not hit.
Correct.
How about 24?
That will definitely hit.
9 points of damage.
9 points of damage. Nice.
Also, apparently, pressing the push to talk space rolls the dice over and over and over.
Okay. So with Ranson coming up with his rapiers, stabbing, you can tell the carrion crawler is starting to ooze some green liquid that you would assume to be its blood. And with that, we are on Faustus.
Okay, what's the formation right now? Like, how many people are around it?
At the moment, up in combat with it is going to be Zoros, Hamilton, and now Rancent.
Okay, would I be able to get a clear shot at the one of the sides?
Oh, easily. This thing is probably about 15 feet tall.
Okay.
So yeah, you would easily be able to get a shot at it.
All right, so I'm gonna try to do inflict wounds.
That spell gets nasty when it gets to higher levels.
Of course, I get an 8.
Unfortunately, an 8 does not hit. You doing anything
tried.
else, Faustus?
That's it. That's all I can do.
Okay, Zoros, we are up to you. You have this big worm that tried to bite you and slapped you with its tentacle.
12 plus 4, 16.
That will definitely hit.
I do D12, right?
Yes.
Plus 4,
Yes.
11.
Nice.
No, I'm sorry. It's a 5. That's a 1. Sorry.
Okay. 5.
I thought it was a 7. My bad.
It's still looking pretty rough.
Hmm?
And we are back up to F, top of the round.
You said it was looking pretty rough.
It's looking rough.
15.
15 will hit.
It's an ice knife, and it is one damage.
You know, we're having great rolls on the hits, but we're not
Mhm.
doing much on the damage.
Okay. Luna, you're up.
Come on, Luna. 17.
17 plus
That's it.
6 for hit.
That'll hit.
Okay, and then a
D8 for her.
Yep.
1.
1 plus 4, so 5 damage.
Okay. His arrow sticks into its skin. You could see more of the green liquid oozing out of it. As it's getting attacked more and more, it's getting a little bit more frantic. It is not looking happy. It is going to try to bite Rancent. And then it will do a tentacle attack on Hamilton. So Rancent, a 21 will hit.
I mean, yeah.
You take 7 points of piercing damage. And Hamilton, it hits. So Hamilton takes 6 points of piercing damage. And he fails the Constitution saving throw. So you see the tentacle reach out and drag itself across Hamilton, and you see his whole body just kind of lock up, and he is basically just paralyzed. It is actually his turn now. He's end of his turn. He's going to try and break it. He manages to snap himself out of the paralyzation at the last moment, but that is his turn. So Azare is going to rub her hands together again and try and produce flame. But this time she does not hit. She was too upset about Hamilton getting paralyzed. It's her turn. Rancent, you're up.
I will attempt to stab further.
Okay.
An 18
18 will hit.
and an 8.
8 damage or 8 to hit?
8 to hit.
No.
$17 damage, though.
17 damage. Nice. As Rancent goes in to stab again, the creature just falls over from way too many stabs from a rapier.
Yay.
It's the beans.
It is the beans, the magic of the beans. Okay, so that creature is dead. Way too many tabs open at the moment.
Question for the DM.
Yes.
Can I dip the bullets that I have in the poison?
Give me a nature check.
I don't have nature, so it's
It's
just a
still-
roll.
You still roll on it and add your wisdom, I believe.
9,
Eh.
3. 3. Never mind.
3.
That's a hard no.
You have absolutely no idea about this creature's physiology to know where the poison is actually coming from.
Does it have any pockets?
It does not have any pockets.
Anything of value?
No. It is just a giant worm.
We eat it.
You can
It's
certainly
poisonous.
try.
I take
Maybe
a
it'll-
bite.
Maybe it'll be like fugu, you know. Rancent, give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, dude.
He said I could try.
I gave you a whole thing of beans. You didn't need to bite the poisonous monster.
Nine's good.
As you start eating the carrion crawler, you feel a small little gurgle in your stomach as you projectile vomit all over the body of the carrion crawler. Most of what comes out seems to be partially digested beans.
I wouldn't eat this.
Yeah.
Guess we can't eat it.
Let me guess, it doesn't taste like chicken. Got it.
Am I able to salvage my beans?
The ones that you
Oh.
clean up,
Yes.
do you have a
He
container
picks them up
to
and
put
puts
them
them in
in?
an empty can.
I was just gonna put them back in me.
Okay, everyone else give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh,
We
I
can't
foresaw
just
that 14.
walk away.
natural 20.
Do we,
I just laugh at him.
do we add something?
So
11.
Faustus
I got a
and
20.
Rose have seen worse things in their military lifestyle before. Luna has definitely seen worse things in, very random experiments that her parents have done. Eth, while this is probably one of the nastiest things that you've seen, someone, regurgitating their already.
They're still good. They're still good.
You manage to keep the contents of your stomach where they belong.
What
I'm not
about
going
me?
to lie. I'm definitely heaved a couple of times, but I'm just glad I was able to keep it in because then Rancid probably would have just gobbled whatever that up.
He would have
Taking your
picked, would have
beans.
picked through it.
What about me? Did I keep my beans in?
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
ABC beans.
2.
You do manage to eat them and keep them in, but you also take 3 acid damage because you are also eating stomach acid that came up with the beans.
That sounds accurate.
Yeah.
At least I'm not going in an endless cycle of bean vomit.
Yeah. Okay. So, continuing the march towards the mountains, the rest of the day passes without incident. As you get closer to darkness, you can kind of feel the ground underneath you become a little bit more firm as it's becoming less sandy as you are getting closer and closer to the mountains. You're starting to see maybe a little bit of shrubs here and there pop up, but it's still pretty open in the desert. As you guys set up camp for the night, give me another perception check.
Bad perception, didn't you? Plus
I
3.
think I do.
Plus 3.
I did not perceive anything. I only rolled a 7.
Perception. Oh, I have plus 3.
Everybody on this one?
Yeah, everybody
17.
can roll. 17,
About 15.
15.
Or
Oh, you and my dice again. I got a 1.
Okay, so Zoros and Faustus, you guys notice the fire up on the mountain this time. It strangely looks like it would be about the same location that it was the previous night, but it is a lot more. It's a lot brighter because you are getting closer to the mountain. You're able to start seeing it a little bit more clearly.
So whoever set it up probably wants us to see it.
Sure. The night passes without incident. You are able to take a long rest. So if you took any damage, you can take a long rest to get the hit points back, or used any spell slots.
I feel better now.
You do feel better. You're not quite as hungry as
Yeah,
you
but
were
your
yesterday.
breath is awful.
How would you ever tell?
I say, to be fair, I don't think Ranson has ever met a toothbrush before.
Not in that hole.
No. Yeah, I guess they're not used to your humor and Ranson's humor. Everybody else was just like, okay, it's Ranson. I mean, it's Ranson.
Just another Saturday.
Exactly. So on the third day of your travel, you start to make it closer to the mountain. You guys start seeing a lot more plant life appear throughout the sand. The temperature is dropping at a decent pace. Like, it's not alarming, but as you get closer to the mountains, it is starting to get a lot cooler. So you are getting a little bit of refreshment from that. The air is starting to have moisture in it. You guys can see clouds
Maxie, come.
that hover over the mountains that look like
Excellent.
they're about to rain at any moment.
Maxie, come here. Come here.
So as you start to walk up towards the mountains, you see that there seems to be a path that kind of leads up that either people or animals have walked before. But it would be up to you if you would like to follow the path or trudge up through the rough of the mountain.
I mean, the path is obviously a trap.
Wouldn't somebody who would be able to be more survivally be able to tell if it's a trap or not?
I mean, if someone that is trained in survival would like to inspect the pathway, sure.
It's just
I
painted
think
on the
that
side
would
of the
be
mountain.
me, right? I
Yeah.
I will inspect the pathway. 18 plus 5, so
23.
23.
I mean, you look at the pathway, it looks just as if it were a beaten path that people use to walk up the mountain. You can't really see where it leads to at this point, but it looks just like a well-worn path. Doesn't look dangerous from what you can see.
Does that dissuade any fears that the Rancid would have about taking path?
I think we should probably follow the path so that we don't fall off the mountain or get hurt or rock slides or any other miscellaneous stuff. It's obviously a path people take.
The Rancid declares himself the wind with a 23.
Okay.
That's the answer to that.
That's fine. I would think that we'll be fine on the path. So,
I agree.
cleric, what do you think?
I agree. I actually don't mind the Rancid being in the shadows. If something comes up and surprises us, the Rancid can surprise it.
I just say at this point, you have no idea where Rancent is. He was there 1 minute, and then you were listening to Luna kind of explain about the path, and then you turn back around to see if he was okay with it, and you don't see him anymore.
That
And
sounds
the
about right.
Rancid is in the shadows.
Or he saw a rat or something that he's chasing to eat.
So as you guys walk up the mountain, the following path, it's a pretty easy path. The incline of the mountain is not hard enough to make or high enough to make it where this would be like a very difficult road to follow. After your days in the desert, the coolness of the mountainside is definitely a welcome refresher. As you are walking up the mountain, someone give me a perception check.
I got an 18.
Okay. As you're looking around, as you're walking up the mountain, you actually see kind of in the distance off to the left a circle of stones that, while they look natural, they also look unnatural at the same time. The stones themselves look natural, but their placement does not quite seem natural to you.
So I would point that out to everybody, and I would just say, knowing what we've seen so far, I'm assuming it's just one more thing that the Man in Black may have put together.
As you look at it, give me an Arcana check.
$22.
Okay. As you're looking at the circle, you get a feeling that it has only inside the circle. You get a sense of divination and also necromantic magics involved.
And I would let the cleric know that, since he might be a lot more disheartened to hear about the necromancy aspect of it.
Okay. Hearing that there's necromancy involved, I'm gonna cast Detect Evil and Good.
Okay. Um, let's see. Um, so as you cast the spell, um, you're a little confused at first because you do get a sense of an undead creature that is within the circle, but you do not get a evil or malicious feeling from the entity inside the circle.
Okay.
Now, at the moment, you don't see anything in the circle. You're getting that from the spell.
But I can definitely sense that it's coming. It's definitely within the circle.
Yes.
Do
I'll
you
communicate
think
to the
this is
group.
something to where if we disrupt the circle or basically destroy it, that it might get rid of this magicness about it?
Or it might let it out.
So as you're talking about like disrupting the circle, you see Azare kind of step up, and she has a sense of recognition on her face, and she says that this actually looks a lot like a druid circle that she's had knowledge about from where she comes from. Um, the locations of the stones themselves do not really have any uh, containment ability, so disrupting the stones would not disrupt the circle. Usually, from her experience and her knowledge with druid circles, these are a place uh, a place of nature, a place of knowledge. Um, they're not really any evil that she has ever come across relating to druid circles. Which, when she's kind of saying that, Faustus, you kind of start to click of why the spell wasn't giving you any evil or malicious, because the entity, while undead, is not an evil entity.
I say we check it out. I'll go in.
Okay. As Zoros steps into the circle, Zoros, give me a wisdom saving throw.
12 plus 1, 13.
As you step into the circle, you see a dwarf manifest in front of you.
Yes.
Everybody else, you guys can see nothing except for Zoros stepping into the circle. And Zoros, as you look, this dwarf looks really, really familiar to you.
Like a barmaid I used to know.
No, he actually looks exactly like you, just a lot older.
Wow.
And he walks forward towards you and places his hands on the side of your head, and you hear a voice just kind of envelop your mind, and he says, ask your question and you will get an answer.
Wow. Okay. Better think of a good one. Um, where's the man in black heading?
Um, the older you smiles, and all of a sudden your vision goes black. And when things kind of clear a little bit, you see the man in black standing outside of a cave entrance, and it's kind of unusual because even though you're not there, you feel that he is looking directly into your eyes. And he turns around and just kind of beckons with his finger as he walks into the cave. And all of a sudden, your vision goes black again, and you are now back in the circle. Only this time, there is nobody else in there with you.
Okay. I guess I head on out.
Okay,
Head out
Zora
of the
back
circle.
outside.
Tell everybody what you saw.
I saw nothing, guys. No. I got a picture of the man in black standing at the cave beckoning us in. I met my future self, and damn, I aged well. But yeah, the man in black is heading for a cave. My question, he said he'd answer one question. My question was, where is the man in black heading? And evidently it's a cave. So we need to be searching out a cave.
What do you think? Just continue on this path?
Well, when the dwarf talked to me, he disappeared after I saw the vision of the cave with the man in black beckoning me. If one of you guys want to try it, see if we can, if it's one per customer or what, but somebody might want to try it.
I mean, I'll immediately go in.
Okay. Ransom, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Six.
As you enter the circle, you see a figure of a ghostly woman kind of coalesce in front of you, and again, nobody else sees this but you. And she smiles sadly at you and places her hand on the side of your face, and you just hear a very sad female voice just say, this magic is not for you. And you take 4 points of psychic damage before the lady just evaporates into nothingness.
I don't know if that counts as one per customer or not.
I mean, I still think you might have seen yourself older.
You got psychic slap.
I mean, I don't know.
I'll try.
Okay. Luna, you go in. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
18? Oh, 10.
Is that a 10 and 13?
Okay. As you enter, you see a lovely half elf coalesce in front of you, and she looks pretty much exactly like you, just older. And she touches the middle of your forehead with her finger, and you hear a voice kind of envelop your mind, and she says, "Ask a question, and you shall get an answer."
I should have thought of a question before I went in there.
Yeah, we might want to come in better prepared next time.
How close are we to meeting the man in black.
As you ask that, she smiles, and your vision goes black, and you see a view of the mountain range that you would assume that you are currently on, because you see desert out to the east and mountains out to the west. And you see the sun in the sky at the moment is probably high noon. You see the sun start to move in the sky, and as soon a moon replaces it and it sails across the sky, and the sun appears again and it stops a little bit past high noon, giving you the sense that you are about a day away from its location. And then as your vision goes black again and you find yourself in the druid circle, the lady removes her finger from your forehead and just disappears into nothingness.
I go back and I tell everybody that I live because I saw my older self. Yay. And we are one day away from encountering the man in black. So we have a day to be ready for him.
Hey, before anybody else goes in there, evidently we get to ask a question
If
each.
you're good enough.
We have a chance to get a question answered. We should probably come up with a couple questions in case we're graced with the oracle's vision before we step back in. What else do we need to know or want to know?
Do we want to defeat the man in
Yeah,
black?
how do we defeat the
Maybe.
man in black?
While they're talking, I'll walk into the circle.
Okay, Faustus walks into the circle. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
He's got to roll a one.
I appreciate that move.
14.
As you're standing there, you see a human man coalesce in front of you. You can't see his face because he is wearing a mask that is very familiar to you, and it looks like the mask of a death doctor. And he comes up and he puts his hands on your shoulders, and you hear a voice come into your mind that says, "Ask a question and you will get an answer."
Where do I find the gray man?
Your vision goes black and you see the kind of zooms out of the mountain, and without any warning, your vision just goes rocketing off to the west, almost to the point that you feel you're going to throw up because it's moving so fast. And it stops in front of a city that looks familiar to you, but at the same time does not look like how you remember it. This, you can see some landmarks that you remember from your time living here in Lud. Well, as you knew it, Ludmark. You can see the monorail tracks, but you don't see any trains moving. The city has fallen into such disrepair and decay. Buildings have fallen over, glass shattered everywhere. Occasionally you hear the loud explosion of bombs going off somewhere in the city, and then your vision goes black, and when it comes to focus again, you are standing in the druid circle on the mountain, and the man moves his hands from your shoulders and just fades into dust.
I'll just go off by myself and brood.
Okay, we'll put you up here. Anyone else stepping in?
I mean, there's only one other person
Pretty much.
other
Well, we have
than.
Zara and Hamilton.
Yeah,
I think we really need to see if we can get a vision of how to defeat the man in black. That would be a good information to have.
So we can have Zara or Hamilton do it.
They say that they do not want to step into the circle.
That's just too convenient for our group. All right, I will step into the circle.
Okay, give me a wisdom saving throw with advantage because you have the jawbone.
Ooh,
Wow. I don't know if that's going to help me or not, but with advantage, it's a 13.
Okay. As you enter the circle, you see a man, a human man, appear in front of you that looks like you, only older, and he touches the middle of your forehead, and you hear a voice that says, "Ask a question, and you will get an answer."
I will ask. How do we defeat the man in black?
You see the man that's standing in front of you, and his eyes just kind of stare into yours as if he's looking through you. And it's a little unnerving to have someone kind of, especially having your face but older, look at you like this. But you hear the voice in your mind, and it simply says, "The man in black always was and always will be. He is not who you should want to destroy. Your sights should be set on the Crimson King. Destroy the king, and his pawns will topple." And with that, the man removes his finger from your forehead and disappears into nothingness.
Okay. I'll walk out of the circle. And I'll say, "Great news, everybody. Man in black cannot be. We cannot defeat the man in black."
okay.
And that's good news. How?
I'm saying this sarcastically.
Oh, you can't always
are-
tell.
Well, that's accurate. But I was basically told that the man in black always is and always has been and always will be. So I, at this point, feel that we're running an errand's fool right now, or a fool's errand.
So what should we be doing?
According to me, finding the Crimson King, which I think we've heard of before.
He's in the tower, right?
You remember Roland, actually, no, I think it was either Faustus or Hamilton that did a religion check. And
Yeah, it was me.
remembered that the Crimson King is on the balcony of
Trying to get into the
one of the
tower.
levels of the Dark Tower, trying to break his way into it. And if it's prophesized that if he ever gets into the tower, then he will basically destroy all of creation and rebuild it in whatever fashion he wants, which would be pure chaos.
Then why would this what was his name, Roland, why would he send us after this man in black if what we should actually be going after is the Crimson King?
Maybe the man in black is leading us to the tower?
Maybe the man in black is the key to the Crimson King.
I think Roland did tell you that the man in black was basically a pawn of the Crimson King. He does the Crimson King's bidding.
I mean, that being said, though, it still doesn't, to me, if we're supposed to be going after the Crimson King, then going after the man in black is just extra. Why bother? I mean,
You know
yes,
where
right
the
now
Crimson King is?
and that's what I was about to say. We might not necessarily know where he is. Cleric, you knew about him. You knew about the tower that's supposed to be the key to everything. Do you know where the tower is?
Yeah, but by this point, I would have made my way back to the group and overheard the
Okay.
stopping the Crimson King. And if I had to make a guess, is that our goal has always been the Crimson King. The man in black is just going to be on the way.
That doesn't necessarily answer my question.
To get to one, we'll have to get through the other.
So you feel that to get to the man in black, or sorry, to get to the Crimson King and this tower, we have to go through the man in black. There's no other way around it.
I don't see any other way around it.
Okay.
Because we don't know where the tower is.
But then comes again my concern that my future, not my future self, but the older self that I saw in the circle said that the man in black has always been and the man in black will always be. So we're not going through the man in black. We're basically coming up to in what I believe to be a brick wall. We're going to get to this man in black and he's going to basically stop us from going forward. Why would he just step aside and allow us to go to the person or the thing that is controlling him? He wouldn't.
I feel like if we inconvenience him enough, he'll step out of the way.
Okay, so Rancid.
I mean, I'm inconvenient.
Okay. I mean, I'm just going to have to continue going forward, hoping that all of you are correct. I've only known you all for a very short time of my life, so I don't really trust any of you. But I also know that what I've said before remains true. I'm not going back the way I came. I can only go forward. So if this is the way that we need to go, then so be it.
What
This is
if
the
the
way.
man in black is not a man, but a pawn? So his pawns, the man in black could be anybody. And if we kill one, another one just replaces him and you have another man in black.
Then I would just have to ask Luna, is there a point to killing the current man in black?
There wouldn't be a point in killing, but there might be a point in letting Rancid eat him little by little until he tells us where the tower is.
That is a unique way of looking at it. And if that's how it shall be, then I shall turn my back and plug my ears with my finger so I don't have to hear Rancent eating something.
I don't want to eat them though.
You ate your own vomited beans. What else would you eat?
Those beans were valuable.
Okay. I mean, I'm just saying, Rancent, we've all seen you do some sketchy crap. All we can believe is you are nothing but sketchy from here on out. Fair?
He still hasn't learned
Fair
what
enough.
hole the toothbrush goes in.
Oh, we all know what hole the toothbrush goes in.
Okay, so what you guys doing?
Go, I'm up for going forward. We have a day before we'll run into the man in black, so
Around what time is it right now?
noon.
So yeah, it was around noon when you guys first got here. Now it'd probably be around 2. So early afternoon.
So maybe just keep going straight until we start to see the sun set.
Okay. You guys can continue to follow the footpath up the mountain to until the sun sets and it starts to get a little bit darker. At that point, if you guys would like to build a camp, you can.
Well, it's
Yes.
a little cooler in the mountains. I definitely think we need a fire.
Is there any place where we can limit, where we can cover, where we can put our backs against something so that we can't be surrounded, or are we still pretty flat and open?
No, you'd probably be able to find like a grouping of boulders that you would be able to you'd feel comfortable kind of camping yourself around. So at least you would be covered by probably about 2 sides.
Okay.
As
find
you
a
guys
place.
set up your camp, you guys don't even need to roll a perception check this time. All of you guys can see a campfire a lot closer in the distance up on the mountain. It's still pretty much, from what you gather, the same place that it has been the last couple nights.
I
But
make fake owl noises to cover up our presence. Hoot hoot.
and you hear Rancent just kind of sitting there, not even trying to sound like an owl, just sitting there, hoot hoot, hoot hoot.
Occasionally hootily hoo.
Sure.
I think I need to pick up a little rock and throw it at the owl that's keeping me awake.
Sure. Make an attack roll.
Attack roll.
You want to add your proficiency, so it would just be your dexterity bonus to it.
Hootily hoo.
10.
And that's with the +4.
Yes.
Okay. You throw it in the direction that you would think the owl is, but unfortunately it just goes flying over Ranson's head. You post guards throughout the night. The night passes without incident, and you guys wake to a brisk mountain morning. As you start to climb up the footpath, you actually see that there are tracks on the footpath, as if this was once a path for like a train or a cart of some sort that would roll along on the track. And as you progress throughout the day, by the time it gets to be a little bit afternoon, pretty much similar to the time that Luna saw in her vision, you start to see a giant mouth of a cave that leads into the mountain. And standing out front of the cave mouth is a silhouette of a man standing there just watching you.
He's beckoning us with his finger. I know it.
I mean, at this point, you guys are probably a couple hundred feet away from him, so you're not getting enough detail that you'd be able to see if he was beckoning or not. You just see kind of the shadow of a man standing there in front of the mouth of the cave.
My gun has a range of 200 feet, right?
It does.
Are we in the wide open or do we have any kind of protection?
Were you just following the footpath, or were you trying to advance through the trees with cover?
I think we were just on the footpath at this point.
Yeah, guys, I don't know that it much matters. He knows we're here. I mean, Rancid stayed in the shadows, but I don't think the rest of us maybe spread out so one shot can't take us all out. But
Very sneaky.
What was, go ahead and roll stealth again, since he did rest.
Rancid.
No, Rancid.
2. I'm the wind.
Okay. So as Rancid is walking through the shrubs, he's just sits, walking through, hoot, 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 hootly hoot. He's practicing his owl calls as he's walking up through the forest.
And obviously, when I notice an outline, I wave at it, so that it draws my rapiers non-threateningly.
I mean, as you wave at it, you see a shadowed hand kind of come up and wave back at you.
Seems friendly. This all seems all right, guys. We found a cave. There's a friendly shadow. Hoot hoot.
So what are y'all doing?
Is Soros aiming the gun at all?
I don't know. I have it in my hand. I haven't decided whether I'm going to shoot at him or not. What do you guys think? Hamilton and I both can take a shot.
How far away does he look?
We can shoot from 200 feet.
He's
Right.
probably about 300 feet from you guys.
I think we're gonna have to keep walking forward a little bit.
I continue hooting because owls don't get opinions.
Their opinion is hoot.
Hoot hoot.
I'm definitely going to be putting on my mage armor, so I'm gonna just touch my chest and have the shimmer around me.
Okay.
I want to put your depends on too.
As you do that, Azair looks at you because she's been really into your magic and puts her hand on her chest and nothing happens. And she does it again. I don't know what's going on. It's not working.
Just keep trying. Just keep trying.
Okay. So she
Yeah.
just kind of just sits there and just keeps walking, pressing her
Yep.
chest.
I might have to get my chainmail out.
As you guys start to walk closer, because I would assume you guys would start to even to try and get him within range. You hear a voice come almost like a whisper, but is still loud enough for all of you to hear clearly. And the voice is very, very charming, very, very charismatic. And it says, "I am sad to see that Roland was not able to join you. However, if you were to continue in his stead to reach the Dark Tower, then I beseech you, come." And you see him hold out his finger and just start beckoning as he turns around and walks into the mouth of the cave. And at this point, you no longer, pretty much his shadow just melds into the blackness of the cave.
But I can see in the dark, so I can see. Can I still see him?
Your dark vision is out to 60 feet, and he's still probably about 200 feet away from you. So
Okay.
you would not be able to see him.
Okay. All right. Well, once he goes in the cave, we should probably regroup and figure out. Obviously, he's not going to attack us out here. So we should probably figure out our next course of action as a group.
Didn't sound like he was gonna attack us at all. It sounds like he's gonna walk us right to that tower.
Yeah, the feeling that you at least got from his voice was there was no maliciousness in it. He sounded genuinely sad that Roland was not there with you and interested to talk to you when the time is right.
Well, I say we keep moving forward. Can't go back.
All right, let's head towards the cave.
Agreed.
Okay. As you get to the mouth of the cave, those with dark vision are now able to see that the mine tracks lead directly into the cave from the footpath. You would get the sense that this is entrance to a mine shaft that was here, but it looks incredibly old. The supports look stable enough, but there is no light in here, so those that cannot see in the dark are going to have a difficult time moving around.
I'm
Try to
completely
light a
useless.
torch or use your fire mace or whatever.
I can create 3 small balls of light and keep them like around us at 100 and up to 120 feet away from me. So
Okay. So snaps his fingers and 3 balls of light appear and kind of spread out, giving you guys a good look at this. It's just this entrance to the mine is pretty big, probably about 100 feet wide. You can from here you can see about 5 branches that leads into the caves, each with mine tracks on them.
Split the party.
no, please.
Hoot hoot.
Hoodly hoot.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a smart idea to split up. Some of you can't see. We need to stay close so that the light round fireballs can keep it lit for you.
I mean, they're
Doris?
going to be close to me anyways because they only give like a 10-foot radius of light. So if I have them like all 10 feet from me, it can at least be like a 30-foot radius that we're able to see. And I can just stay in the middle of the party. That way, if we have anybody who can't see walking behind me, can't see in the dark, they would at least then be able to see.
5-way split.
Can
I
we?
mean, I
How
like the
about
idea of being behind the wizard for once.
Can we do that perception check? See if we can pick up footprints.
That would be a survival check, and yeah, you can do it.
Okay, I believe survival is me. Oh, I don't think we're surviving. 9.
So as you're kind of searching through, you see a lot of footprints on the ground. Most of them look just old, as if it could have been people that had worked in the mines when it was an active mine. But you aren't able to pick out any fresh footprints.
Hmm. So how did we decide? Are we sticking together or separating?
Well, I like stupid things, so that would be separating. So we probably shouldn't.
I thought exactly. I'm thinking stay together.
Yeah, I say we stay together, wander down, see if the tunnels come to a relatively quick end and kind of backtrack, maybe mark the walls as we go in case they split again.
I feel like something's going to come to a quick end, and it's not the tunnels.
Hmm?
So I'll use my flashlight mace. It's like 40 feet out, and try to get a better look down each of these. See if there's anything that might point to like a dead end right away or anything like that.
Not that you can see. No, they all look pretty identical.
So
Well, that
which
didn't
one
help.
do we choose? The one right in the
Let's go in the
middle?
middle.
I mean, yeah, at this point it would be like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So middle is
So
good for me.
as you go down the one in the middle, you walk for about 20 minutes, and the cave kind of curves off to the left and then comes back to the right. But after about 20 minutes or so, it does end in a collapsed tunnel.
Go. One down.
One down, we need to turn around and go back. There are no haddles in here, right?
Can we check the rubble and see if we can discern anything, what caused the collapse, whether or not it's a real collapse, if it's an illusion? I mean,
Give me an intelligence check. Dave only.
oh, come on. 11 plus nothing.
Okay.
You have no
So
intelligence.
being a dwarf, you do know about mines and mining, especially since I believe your parents had some stuff to do with
Yep.
stonework and stuff like that. From what you can tell, it just looks like the supports on the mines, on this tunnel at least, had gotten too old and just could not support the weight, and it just caved in.
Perfect. Let's motor. Next tunnel.
After about 20 minutes of walking, you see the shaft kind of starts to go down a little bit, and it ends in a pool of what looks like water. The water looks to be a sickly green color, and small bubbles appear lazily on the surface. Someone trained in nature, give me a nature check.
You just
And
have
I
Ransom
don't
take
think
a
any
sip.
of us were.
I was
Oh,
going
yeah,
to
you
say I
were.
immediately taste the water
Faustus,
bubbling.
give me an investigation check.
Seven.
7. Even with a 7, you have seen stuff like this in your past. You can tell that this has been contaminated with some sort of radiation. You've healed people that have dealt with radiation sickness before, and it has not been a pleasant thing. Ranson, as you touch the water, you take 1 point of acid damage.
I'm going to be a superhero.
You get no powers from the water. I guess we need to turn around and go back.
That water continues in this cave, you said?
Yeah, basically the cave starts leading, the mine starts leading down, and the water is kind of filling it up. So you would assume that this path is submerged under the water.
Okay, yeah, we'd have to turn around then and go back and find another one.
Okay, as you get to the next passage, after about 100 feet of walking through this tunnel, you come to a rough barricade that looks like to be made out of mine cars stacked up on each other, and it looks like it's several rows deep, making this pathway unpassable.
Man, this guy's not making it easy.
Well, back we go. We have 2 more. Wonder if we'll pick the right one first.
So as you go down this mine shaft, after about an hour of walking, you can feel the floors start to feel different. One moment there is rocky ground that is pretty much what you guys have been used to walking in this mine shaft. The next moment there seems to be ceramic tile through the ground. The tracks are still on the ground. And after about 15 minutes more of walking, you begin to see a very dim light in the distance. You see 2 dim lights, probably what would be about chest height on you guys. Well, probably above Zoros's head, but everybody else would be about chest height. And the light is not moving. It's just staying there.
How wide is this passageway?
This passageway, you could see, so it is probably about 30 feet across. And then you can see on the edge opposite of where you came into this passage with, there is like a little ledge that's probably like right at your head level, that leads that basically there's just more walking room up there. But the light is further down where pretty much further down the tracks from where you are.
Do we have a map or do we have a
So
graphic of this or anything?
Not of this one now.
Okay.
I'm gonna suggest that we all get up on that ledge. And
Maybe
I'll
we should
just
get up
go
on
ahead
it.
and try to get up on the ledge. Do I have to make some acrobatics check or something?
We should,
Somebody's gonna have to lift him up.
we should actually, I'm probably the lightest one. Well, maybe not the lightest, but I'm pretty small. I could probably get through that.
And I was gonna say, I think Mom or F would probably be the lightest one. Sorry, Luna or F would be the lightest ones.
Yeah.
I'll go up on the edge and see what it looks like.
I mean, as you go and peek on the edge of the little ledge, I mean, it looks very dirty. There are some chairs and benches scattered along. You could see at one point it looks like there's a stairway that leads up, but it has collapsed in on itself. Faustus, from your time in Leadmark, you actually would have a sense of kind of what this type of place is. To you, it seems like a subway, and you would think, or you would be able to pretty much ascertain that the lights are coming from the front of a train car. But the lights are not moving; they're just staying stationary where they are.
When I let everybody know that there's really nothing up here, it looks like people used to live here. And there were stairs that went up that have collapsed, but it's just a lot of dusty old furniture and nothing else that I see.
Okay, I would still feel safer up on the ledge, so I'll continue to try to climb up with my chainmail and everything.
Okay, I mean, you're able to climb up. F, give me an Arcana check.
Okay. Ooh, 9.
9. So you are getting a very weak sense of magic from the direction of the lights. But you can't really tell what it is that's giving you that sense of magic.
And those lights are what are not up on this ledge.
Correct. They are basically attached to a giant train.
And that's why the cleric jumped up on the ledge, because he's afraid that this train is going to, I'm assuming, barrel down upon us.
Well, I used to live in a city, so yes, I'm definitely afraid of that.
Does that happen to you before in the past?
You'd be surprised what you see as a doctor.
Right. Okay. You don't have to answer. That's fine. Does the ledge continue on for the rest of this cave? Does it go past the lights?
Give me a perception check.
$13.
From what you can see, about 30 feet after the lights, the rest of that cave, that side of the cave, has caved in. Even on the ledge, it just kind of ends with a
So at
bunch of
that point,
rubble.
you're going to need to get in front of the train at some point, cleric.
Maybe we can go through the train.
So don't get squished by demon train, but instead go into demon train.
I didn't
Your
say it was a
thought
demon
process.
train.
I mean, you think this thing is going to barrel down upon us?
I don't want the train to suddenly turn on and come towards us and squish us.
Like a demon.
Has anyone tried licking the train?
It's too far away from us yet.
We're not to the train yet. We're trying to decide how we're going to go, if we're going to go to the train. And if we're gonna walk on the edge or down on the bottom. On the tracks. I can see the point of not walking on the tracks if the train is on the tracks and has its lights glowing, it may be able to still drive.
And
So
that's
it-
fine. If we think that walking on the ledge is going to make it easier for us, well, all I want us to remember is that whoever may barrel that train down upon us has many different ways that he or it is going to try and kill us. And just walking on this ledge is not going to mean that we are out of harm's way.
So, Eth, when you looked past the lights and like was curious, looking to see where the, kind of the end of the cave was, like you saw that about 30 feet past the lights, the cave has caved in. So that means the train has pretty much been squished. So it's not.
Oh, it's not just a ledge.
Completely caved in on that side.
Okay.
Oh.
On that side, though, right. The other side of the train or the tracks is still open.
So the other side away from the lights probably goes maybe about 30 feet, and then it's actually gated off with thick chains and bars.
So this is not a way that we are going to even go.
From
We're
what
gonna
you
need to-
see, the only way out of here is back the way you came.
Okay. Then at that point, this is again another dead end.
Apart
The
from
question is, do
the-
we want to investigate the train or do we want to just turn around and go back and go up that last tunnel?
The lights on that train are on. I think we should check it out.
because remember,
Oh, I
you
totally vote for the spooky train.
you did get the sense of magic from the direction of the lights.
And that being said, I personally, That doesn't mean that I'm going to want to go and investigate every
I know,
single
I
time
know.
I feel. Okay. I'm going to stay back. If y'all want to go and invest this demon train, then by all means do so. But I will just stay back here and wait for your screams.
Like you did at the basement.
Exactly. I'm looking out. I'm making sure nobody's coming from behind us. Zoros.
Me?
No, I'm just letting you know that that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Good for you.
I know.
Hit him with one of those little light orb thingies.
No, I have other ones that do a little bit more damage.
Okay.
All right, and let's head out. Are you going, Zora? So
I'm
you
coming.
staying?
I thought about
attempted
keeping-
to become the wind with a 1. A natural
Sure.
1.
Hoodly hoo.
Hoodly hoo.
I thought about just keeping F company, but I'll come with. Let's check out the train.
Okay. As you get closer to the train, you can see that the cave-in has crushed the train, making it impassable. So even if you were to go inside the train, you wouldn't really be able to get anywhere because it is crushed in. The lights seem to be held in some sort of a casing. But that's about all that you can see. If you want to give me an investigation check, if you're looking around that area, you can.
Let's see if I have it.
I do. 7 and 4, 11.
Nat 20.
Okay. Ranson, as you're looking around the train and looking at it, you see that the casing of the lights can actually be opened.
I immediately open them.
Okay. You open it, and it looks like the light can actually be removed.
Does it look like a hooded lantern or something?
It does not. It looks to be just an orb of light.
I grab an orb of light.
As you grab one of the lights from the open casing, as soon as your finger touches it, it actually kind of floats up above your head and just stays there and sheds dim light in about 30 feet around you.
Cool.
That's
And
pretty
every
cool.
time-
I think I touched a drift globe.
Every time you move somewhere, the orb stays pretty much in step with you, just right above your head.
I poke the other one.
This one does not seem to react to you.
That's
Okay.
just a dick light.
So who can't see in the dark? Some go grab a light bulb.
I mean, I guess I'll grab it.
As
Or
soon as you
Hamilton.
touch it, it pretty much floats right up above your head and sheds dim light within about 30 feet.
There were just the two?
Yep, just the two.
Okay. Here we go.
We look
Okay.
around, we don't see anything else.
Nope, that was all that you guys saw.
Well, now we have lights for that last tunnel. Guess we need to go back and hope F is still there. Nothing to aid him from behind.
No, nothing. You're just watching them poke around. You see the lights float above their heads, and then that's about it.
Question for the DM.
Yes.
Like having experience with like a little bit more technology and like being familiar with like what a train is or anything like that, would I know what the orb is?
No.
Okay.
No, at least not until you attune with it. Or if someone casts Identify on it, one of the two. So F is back at the pretty much where you guys came in at. So if you guys backtrack, you're easily able to find the main passageway, and you can make your way down another one of the tunnels. This tunnel looks to be pretty old, but they're actually on this on these tracks is actually a mine cart that looks old but usable. It looks like it can seat up to about 6 people. But it looks functional.
Well,
We'll change that to 7 people
There.
because
I was
there's
gonna
7.
say I'm gonna sit in the mine cart and make engine noises.
This does look like just a normal like pump mine cart. So someone, if you guys were to use it, would need to, work on the pump to make it actually move on the tracks.
Vroom, 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 vroom.
Is there anything on it that would lead us to believe we could brake with it?
Yeah, there is actually a handbrake on it.
Okay. Well, I say we take the mine cart and get rolling. Ah,
Okay, who is going to be doing the pumping on the mine cart?
Not it.
I mean,
Huh?
it seems like a job I'd be good at
Okay,
with no strength.
if you're going to be trying to do it, you gotta let me know.
don't you have the most?
I'm gonna
strength?
try to do it.
Okay, give me a strength check.
That's gonna be an 8.
Rancent tries to use the pump. He even tries to sit on the lever to make the pump go down, but he just cannot get this pump to activate.
I'll try it.
Okay.
1721.
So Zoro steps up and shoves Rancent to the side and is just like, God damn it, Rancent, watch this. And with one hand just
Vroom.
starts pumping the mine cart, having it just go. It lets out this very loud squeal and it starts to move slowly. But the more you pump, the faster it goes and the faster.
Is there somebody on the brakes?
I mean,
Um,
it says that they were on the brakes.
I'm definitely not gonna crank it out full speed. I'm being cautious about generating too much speed. I
Okay.
just want to move slowly at first. I want to kind of get a feel for the thing.
And that's fine. You make a couple tries of using the handbrakes, and the handbrakes squeal, but you roll to a stop and you start up again. It definitely cuts down the moving time or the walking time by about half. And as you go on, you've been traveling for probably an hour or two at this point. As you're going through the mine tracks, you actually see green glows that you're going through. Someone give me a perception check.
Perceptive. You have perception.
Do I?
I only had an 8.
Hang on, let me check. I don't. And
18.
yeah, I do have perception +3. Okay.
So as Zoros is pumping the hand cart,
21.
Faustus, you're looking out and just kind of keeping a track, and the green glows you see as you're moving through. You've seen something similar to it before, but these look to be people that have come into contact with a lot of radiation and have actually mutated. The glow is the glow of their skin. They look like they are. Some of them look humanoid. Some of them look just like lumpy piles of flesh. But as the train or as the cart that you're on squeals past them, all of their heads kind of turn in your direction and they kind of just start shambling towards the cart. But the cart is moving too fast for them to keep up with. After about 2.5 hours of travel on this, someone give me a perception check.
Wait, did you say 2.5 hours of this cart?
Yes.
12.
12. Okay. Zoros, you don't notice anything. You're too busy focused. Your muscles are starting to strain from just the constant pumping of this cart.
16.
I got a 10, so my eyes are just getting tired.
Your eyes are getting
Got a
tired.
Yeah.
16.
Luna got a 16.
You see, as you're kind of keeping a lookout in front on the tracks, you notice that the wood boards under the track are starting to warp, and you think it might be a good idea that you start to slow down soon.
Slow down.
Okay, so we pump the handbrake and slow it down a little bit.
Okay.
Do we see the green stuff coming up behind us?
At the moment, you do not. But as you slowly squeal to a stop, you actually do see the tracks start to kind of warp and raise a little bit, and pretty much notice that if you had not stopped at that point, the whole mine cart would have just flown off the rails, and it would not have been a good thing.
Okay, so I guess we walk from here.
As you get a little bit closer, let me just actually have a thing for. Okay, so as you walk a little bit past where the tracks have warped, you come across this gaping chasm. So all the black, if you were to look down there, it just disappears into blackness. You cannot even see how far it goes. Where you are now is pretty much the end of where the tracks warped and broke. And then these are just other tracks that go across the chasm. You at the moment can only see one set of tracks that actually make it to the other side. And on the ledge on the other side, you actually see a pinpoint of light. And then someone give me another perception check.
Not me.
18.
Okay. F, as you look back the way that you came, just at a glance, you do start to notice a green glow that is filling the way that you came. And you start to hear the moans of things walking and just the sound of footfalls on echoing throughout the cavern.
So at that point, I will let everybody know what I heard, what I see, and I think that we need to go a little bit faster so as not to have these things catch up to us.
Ed, do you sense any magic in this area?
DM, do I sense any magic in this area?
You can give me an Arcana check.
16.
You do not.
Oh.
Apart from like the globes of light above Branson.
I mean, other than
Stuff that you already have, yeah.
light.
I think we need to keep moving.
Let's get going. Let's
Yep.
cross the one track that goes across.
Okay. Let me do over here.
I suggest while we're in a hurry, we only go one or two at a time, just because it looks like those other tracks have collapsed.
Obvious trap is very suspicious.
So as you look, these tracks look about as old as everything else here does. What is the marching order that you want to go across the tracks?
I'll take the lead.
Okay, Zoros is in the lead.
You want to come with me?
Sure.
Luna and I will go across first.
Okay.
Just try to spread the weight evenly as much as we can.
So what this is essentially going to be is a series of dexterity saving throws. Sorry, I'm just organizing people in a line. Zoros, if you're going first, I will need a dexterity saving throw.
It's wide enough to only
19.
be one person at a time.
You could. It is the tracks are probably about 10 to 15 feet wide, so multiple people could walk on it at the same time.
Okay.
It is about 100 feet down from where you are to where you see the pinpoint of light. Zoros, you got a 19. You managed to make it.
Willa or Luna has 17.
No.
Oh, you have plus 4, 21.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to kind of dance along the boards as you go.
Hey guys, should we rope up?
I would be afraid of that just because if I'm roped to anything heavier, no matter what, if it falls, I fall.
I was gonna say it's more fun to fall to your doom together.
But at the same aspect, we at least want to try to not fall all together.
No, I don't mean
So,
everybody. I mean rope up in partners. That way we got a fighting chance of saving each other.
I tie myself to the wizard.
I'm going to attempt to make sure that that does not happen.
Okay. I mean, every time that he ties himself to you, you just do a little fire bolt to burn through the rope.
Thank
to
you. Mhm.
Untie it.
But the buddy system, it's gonna save us.
Nope, I don't. I'm okay with that.
F,
I'm
give
not
me a
your
sleight of
buddy
hand
now.
check.
Oh, that's not going to be nice.
And Ranson, give me a perception check.
Oh, that's actually better than I thought it was going to be. 16.
2.
Ranson, you do not notice that he has actually burnt the rope. So as far as you are aware, you're still connected to the wizard.
Follow the wizard.
Okay, so Zoros and Luna, give me another dexterity saving throw.
15, 16.
19.
Okay, so at this point, you guys make it to probably about here. Is anyone else stepping out on the tracks at the moment, or are you letting Zoros and Luna go first?
Go, Maxie. Go.
I will let them go first.
Okay.
I'm following the wizard, so that means they're going first.
Okay.
I agree.
Another dexterity saving throw, Zoros.
14. Uh-oh.
6.
As Zoros steps onto one of the boards, it just crumbles underneath his foot, and he actually falls down through the tracks. Luna tries to grab onto the rope to stop herself from going over as well and to try and save Zoros, but his weight is just a little bit too much, and she actually falls down into the chasm as well.
Wait a minute. I rolled a 16 and I failed.
Yep. It gets progressively harder as you go because the wood is getting more and more rotted as you go across.
Okay. So we're dead.
So you just saw, everyone else just saw Zoros and Luna fall into the blackness. Zoros's last words as he falls was just, "Okay, so we're dead." Just echoes throughout the chasm. And as you guys kind of look over your side, the glow is getting brighter from where you guys came. So you would imagine that things are getting closer. Who wants to try and go across next?
I will go.
Ransom will go. Okay.
I need to make sure that he thinks that we're tied together, so I will go with him as well.
Okay. Dexterity saving throws for the both of you.
19.
Yep. No, you're able to easily find your footing. F.
6.
You kind of stumble a little bit, but you're able to kind of make your way.
How much does he
Okay,
weigh?
that's good.
I don't know. He's a wizard. Like 4
Um,
pounds,
That is inaccurate. I weigh 150 pounds.
150 pounds.
Tie him back to me.
Give me a perception
He
check.
thinks that I'm about to say he thinks that the tie is still there.
22.
Okay, so as you heard him stumble, you kind of look around behind him and you do notice that you were not tied to him anymore.
Tie the wizard back to me in case he falls off.
Wizard, are you gonna
I'm
like
going to
that?
try to do the same thing that I did that I've done before.
Sleight of hand
Yeah,
and perception from Rancent.
13.
22.
Oh,
Damn
he
it.
sees you try and do it.
Just try to keep the wizard safe.
That is the worst death.
I feel safer not being attached to you.
Hoodly hoo.
Exactly.
Both of you give me dexterity saving throws.
Not in that 20.
18.
Okay, so as Ranson is trying to, chase Eth around, tying himself to him, you guys do manage to keep your footing at this point, but you have not made any progress going further because you're trying to, tie and avoid being tied.
How about you stop trying to tie a damn rope to me?
Hoodly hoo.
So you
Okay, I'm
moving
taking
forward?
that as he's agreeing.
Okay, moving forward, dexterity saving throw.
12.
19.
Okay, you both managed to make it at this point, so we'll have another one. And this is around the place where Zoros and you saw Zoros and Luna fall.
21.
25.
You guys just pretty much skipping along now that you're not fighting for control over who's tied to whom. Okay.
Hey, some of us are dexterous.
As you guys are getting closer to the end, you do see the man in black standing in front of the opening of all the light, and he's just kind of watching you with a curious look on his face.
Hoodly hoo.
And this will be the last dex saving throw to see if you make it all the way towards the end.
Nat 1. 6 total.
That's a hard
15.
no.
Wizard's going down too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you both stumble and fall into the blackness.
Can I attempt to grab onto anything?
Just let it happen.
The little McDonald's things, the little puppies.
I'll give you a dexterity saving throw to try.
Oh,
16.
Rancid doesn't have the will to live. I'm not trying.
Oh, you rolled a nat 1. You had no chance in hell of trying anyways.
Good.
I would say you've been able to grab on to the side of one of the boards. You can attempt to pull yourself up on the next round.
Okay.
But at the moment, you are basically dangling from the tracks.
Okay.
Faustus, you see Rancent fall, and you see F hanging on to one of the tracks. What are you doing?
I'd rather try to cross than deal with the mutants.
Okay. Dexterity saving throw.
First one's a 12.
Okay. You managed to make it. Second one.
14.
Okay. You managed to make it. Third one.
16 or better.
Nat 1.
You go and just you're trying to reach to F to try and pull him up, but your foot just trips on one of the things, and as your hand is outstretched trying to grab at F, you just fall into the darkness.
You should have taken him with you.
F, give me a strength saving throw.
Rancid, you are currently dead. I don't think you can talk.
For all you know, I'm just falling endlessly into the abyss, and you just keep hearing hoodly hoo.
That is true. I would not hold that against you. You said strength saving.
I mean, athletics check would be fine.
Oh, athletics then. Okay, it wouldn't be.
Wizards are real strong.
So when I rolled strength saving throw, it was a 13. When I rolled athletics, it was a nat 1.
I mean, we'll go with the 13 because I was going to take that roll anyways. Just
Okay.
Applying differently to it. So you managed to pull yourself up onto the tracks to kind of support yourself. Hamilton and Azair decide it's their turn to cross. Both able to make the first check. Second check. Hamilton, very clunky and not really dexterous as he is, falls into the abyss. He's a man of few words, though, so he doesn't say anything. And then as Azair tries to get closer around the time that Zoros and Luna fell into the abyss, she also falls. At this point, F, you are the only one on the train tracks, and you hear a voice kind of come from the other side, and you hear a slow clap, and you hear the voice just say, "My, this has been a wonderful show. Here, let me help." And you feel your body just kind of rise up into the air and just fly straight at the man in black, stopping when you are about 2 feet away from him. And he just sends you lightly down on the cave floor. And he says, "I believe it is about time that we have a conversation. If you will just follow me." And he walks out of the tunnel into the light.
Hearing that from behind me, coming from however far down he is at this point, I would probably shed a tear for the Rancent and everybody else. I wouldn't follow him at first. I would go back and I would scream down into the abyss just to see if I get a response.
I mean, your voice echoes throughout the chasm, but you do not hear a response back.
And looking
just
back,
just jump in. It's cool.
You are dead. Shut up. Looking back the way that we came, I continue to see the green light. And
you do. At this point, you see the mutants kind of walking out towards them, towards like the tracks. You see some of them just stumble and fall into the chasm, and you see their bodies just fall, kind of glowing until you just can't see them anymore. But from what you can see, they don't seem to be able to cross the chasm.
Okay. I mean, at this point, I'm not going back. I only have one way to go, and that is forward. So
as you step out of the mine, you actually come to a very forested, mountainous area. And sitting in front of the entrance of the mine is a campfire, and the man in black is sitting basically across from you and just motions for you to take a seat and to join him. He kind of sees your hesitation a little bit and says, "I promise, no tricks, no harm."
I don't believe that for an instant, but
He kind of smiles at you and says, "Oh, you're a smart one to think that."
um, people who I think were smarter than I said that I needed to go through you on my way to wherever this path leads. So I will sit down and I will listen to your lies.
He says that is fair. All paths lead to the tower, and I have a feeling that is where you are interested in going.
If the tower is in front of me, then yes.
He does pretty much nod and say, "Okay." His story is a long story, and uh, he does not want to bore you with the trivialities of his history. He admits that he is an agent of the Crimson King, um, but he has free reign to do what he wishes, and what he wishes the most is just to have some fun. And you seem like a fun person.
You let the wrong guy die. Oops.
You're dead, sir. We can't hear you.
Sorry.
He tells you that he was, he as he's going through his story, he says, "Yes, in fact, I was the one that sent Roland Deshane of Gilead, of the line of Arthur of Eld, on his quest to the Dark Tower. I am sad that he was not here to finish his quest, but hopefully you will live up to the potential that I saw in him." He kind of explains to you that the Dark Tower is the nexus of all realities, and there's a version of the tower in every world, but the one true nexus is the tower itself, which lay far away from where you currently are. As he's kind of talking, he starts getting out a deck of cards from his pouch, and you would recognize these as a deck of tarot cards. And he says, "If you would permit me, I would like to read your tarot."
Sure.
He shuffles the cards for a moment and starts to lay them out. And the first card that's drawn is the Hermit card. And it's on the card is an old man carrying a staff in one hand and a lit lantern containing a 6-pointed star on the other hand. He says this is an interesting card. It suggests that you're in a phase of introspection where you're drawing your attention inwards and looking for answers within. It symbolizes a life of solitude, of soul searching, and being withdrawn from society. He draws the next card, which is the Wheel of Fortune. In this card, you see a revolving wheel, which represents the wheel of life. In each corner of the card, you see 4 winged creatures sitting upon clouds. These creatures represents the 4 elements of the minor arcana. He kind of smiles and says, "This card is a lot like one of your friends that recently passed. This card represents chance, changes, destiny, luck, opportunity, and above all, winning. So let's see if you're able to continue to win." The next card that he draws is the Hangman. It depicts a shameful image of a traitor being punished in a manner common at the time for traitors in Italy. Basically, it pictures a tree, and there is a man hanging from the tree, and wrapped around his neck is vines and leaves. A lot of people think that this card represents surrender and sacrifice, but in reality, it's just about breaking old patterns and letting go and changing into something new. The next card he draws is the strength card. On it, you have a woman and a lion, with the woman looking calm and gentle, yet dominant over the lion. He says, strength predicts the triumphant conclusion to a major life problem. It's a very happy card if you are fighting illness or recovering from injury, but it shows the power of confidence, of inner strength, and self-belief. The next card he draws is Justice. The figure in the Justice card holds two objects, a scale in one hand as a symbol of balance, and a sword in the other, to exemplify the preservation of that equilibrium, even by means of force. And he says justice is all about balance, cause and effect, fairness, responsibility. You can't have evil without good, and you can't have good without evil. The next card is the Chariot card. A powerful princely figure sits on a swift chariot, pulled usually by two sphinxes or horses. The crowned figure holds a sword or a wand. He says the Chariot is a card about overcoming conflicts and moving forward in a positive direction. One needs to keep going on through sheer hard work and commitment, and he will be victorious. Keeping that ambition and that drive to overcome any challenges that will set upon you will be a very good thing for you. The last card, well, he pulls one more card, and he pulls the Tower card. And he kind of smiles. So the tower is very powerful, even in the tarot itself. Depicts a solid tower being struck by lightning and fire crawling out of his small windows at top. At the base of this tower is a field of endless roses that almost look like blood seeping all around it. The power, or the tower itself, holds a lot of different meanings to it, but sometimes the meaning of the tarot cards are exactly what they seem. We know this is your quest to reach the tower and stop my boss. We'll see if you're able to make it that far. And the last card he pulls is Death. Death is universal. Death happens no matter if you want it to or not. But death does not always represent negative things. It can represent the changing of the seasons. It can represent out with the old and with the new. It could just represent cleansing yourself of things that need to be cleansed. This deck probably does not make much sense to you at the moment, but trust me, I've had some visions, and it'll come clear in the future. And as he finishes reading your tarot, he leans forward and touches your forehead, and your vision just clouds, and it's almost like an out-of-body experience. You can see yourself and the man in black sitting at the campfire, but then the view zooms out and it shows the mountains, the clouds, soon the world. You see a red rocky world, a world that has a belt of rocks around it, a world that looks like it's made up of just swirling gas, spirals reaching out as far as the eye can see. You just keep seeing all of these stars spreading out until just infinity. Your mind almost goes, it just reels from just seeing so much, and then your vision just goes black. And that is where we're going to pick up next time.
Okay.
Awesome.
So thank you, everybody that was watching. Thanks for joining. And we will pick it up in a couple weeks to see what's going to happen and how that goes.